Hey everyone, welcome to the Amplify Digest. I'm your host, Lars Schmidt, and it's good to be back. If you're a subscriber to the newsletter, you know that I have been out the last couple of weeks battling a breakthrough case of COVID. Feeling much better now, fortunately, but yeah, that has been a pretty interesting 2-week period, and very grateful to have been vaccinated so that my breakthrough case was, all things considered, manageable. I was able to treat myself at home and feeling much better. So thanks for all the well wishes to everybody who reached out over the last couple of weeks. But it's good to be back, and there's a lot of stuff for us to catch up on. So let's jump right into some of the content for this week. I want to open with this HBR piece on reengineering the recruitment process. And it gets into a range of ways that we need to be thinking about recruitment a bit differently today. But one of the things that I really stood out to me was this. And this is something that too often, especially in this crazy hiring environment we're in right now, we are laser focused on finding the exact experience and skill set required to be able to do every aspect of that job on day one. And I think that's a mistake. And I think companies that are better at identifying potential and hiring for potential and creating programs to help maybe narrow some of that experience gap for their employees are going to be much better positioned as we continue to go through this crazy hiring environment right now, where we're seeing all kinds of compensation inflation and all the things that I know all of you are seeing firsthand. You don't need me to walk you through, but a good reminder here, and perhaps a data point for some of you who are recruiting to bring your hiring managers on really focusing on potential as opposed to fully baked skills. This is an interesting compilation of data points on remote and hybrid work. So lots of data, lots of charts, lots of reference points. So again, I think for those of you particularly who are in environments where you are still fighting the good fight to have some more flexibility for your employees, maybe you're getting managers that are really trying to rush back to an office, having some of this data in your pocket as you're making a compelling business case as to why you might need to be considering remote and hybrid practices for the longer term. Any data is good data when you're able to go into those conversations. And so here's a list of over 60 data points that may help you in those arguments, in those conversations. This is an interesting piece by IBM on accelerating the journey to HR 3.0. What is HR 3.0? There's zero chance any of you could actually read this on the slide, but this piece kind of breaks down what are some of the key components and the importance of each of them as we begin building and continue to build, I should say, this next iteration of HR and people operations. So such an exciting time for us. So much change that is happening, so much change that we are leading. And so this piece will give you some additional kind of context on what those changes look like, but also it'll reinforce to you that you're not alone if you're not doing a lot of those things yet. There's so many aspects to kind of these new models of HR that we're in the very early stages of. So again, as we're leading these changes within our organization, don't feel that, you have to have all of these things done right away. There are very few companies that are actually positioned to do that yet. It's a journey. It's certainly not a sprint, but this will give you some markers to be working towards. This is another thoughtful piece in MIT Sloan about things that you need to get for your corporate culture to be right. And it really focuses on a range of things. Again, you can't read this. All the links to the articles I'm walking through are in the show notes. But it'll get into some of the components like respect and different aspects of environments that create more vibrant cultures, healthier cultures, and cultures that are more likely to retain talent, especially in this new kind of great realignment era that we're in. And the last thing that I want to walk you through is we wrapped up the third Charlie cohort of the Amplify Accelerator last month. The next one, the Delta cohort, is going to be in February of next year. I'm actually opening up a flash sale this week for those of you that want to lock in 2021 pricing for the upcoming Delta cohort. You can do that through Friday. So that's going to be $1,500 in 2022. The tuition price is going to go up to $3,000 per student. And so I wanted to give everybody an opportunity who did want to lock in that 21 pricing. You can do that up until 6 p.m. Pacific Friday of this week. I also want to open this now. So if any of you have unused learning budgets and resources within your organizations that you want to use before you lose, you can apply that and secure your seat now. So again, this is going to be an incredible cohort. The Net Promoter Score of the most recent Charlie cohort was 73. So the students, the experience, the alumni community is now over 100. And two things that I did want to mention that are part of the cohort experience, which also feed into the updated pricing for 2022. One is that cohort students get lifetime access to the Amplify Accelerator community. So on its own, that community is $500 a year. You have a lifetime access to that as a alumni of the cohort program. The other piece, which I think is really what makes the cohort, the Amplify Accelerator cohort experience so unique, is that when you become a student and when you graduate and you become alumni, your alumni status actually gives you access to future world-class guest instructors, their presentations. So the learning actually doesn't end when the course ends. The contributions and connections in the community are ongoing, but you also will have access to future guest instructor presentations, which is an incredible value that will continue your learning and support and development long beyond the cohort ends. So anyway, you can go to the blog, you can see the link for the post that has the discount code, but just be sure if you are interested, you purchase your seat and lock that down by this Friday so you could take advantage of the flash sale. So that's a wrap for this week. There's about another 8 or so articles on the blog post, so be sure to check them all out. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you next week.